Yeah, well, I am Luke Brubaker, and I am partner with Brubaker Farms of Mount Joy, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. My two sons, Mike and Tony, are partners with me on our farming operation. We milk about 800 to 900 milk cows, and we do about 250,000 broilers for Tyson a year. And on this operation, we have a methane digester, which we make electricity for about 200 homes. That was one of the greatest decisions, I believe, that we made, to have the methane digester as part of our farming operation. This year it's been very good to us because milk prices have been very low, and so we have here we have another part of the farming operation that we can rely on for profitability. We have sold carbon credits, which we're cleaning the atmosphere, or making the atmosphere very clean by not letting the gases go into the atmosphere. So we feel very, very good about that. After it goes through the digester, we run it through a separator, and we separate the solids, which is actually the food fibers that haven't been digested, and we squeeze the liquids out of them, put them into one container, and the solids go into another place, and it's basically dry enough. It is dry enough that we can use it to bed the cows, and it is as good or better than shavings and sawdust because it's basically pathogen free. And that saves us probably $30,000 to $40,000 a year on top of the electricity that we're selling onto the grid. And we are in the process of about ready to install a solar system on our new 500 stall heifer barn to produce enough electricity for maybe about 100 to 130 homes when the sun shines. We are very involved with conservation practices, best management practices that do good work for the Chesapeake Bay, but not only good for the Chesapeake Bay, it does good works for us, because anything that we do profitable for the Chesapeake Bay is profitable for the farm. So we like to think of doing good as being very profitable. I got to this point from my father giving me an opportunity to start farming on this farm here where we're sitting. My father bought this farm here in 1929. That was Depression time. So in the early 60s, when he was in his 65 and ready to do something else, he left me take over the dairy farm, and by that time my brother was also ready to farm, and he took over the other farm. We started out where he stopped. Crop insurance has been a major part of our operation probably since the, I want to say maybe the early 90s. As I can recall, I'm not quite sure the date, if it was 89 or 91, we had a major drought. Before that, when the crop insurance agent would come around, I would usually say, I'm not interested. I believe that I depend on above for most of my insurance, but when we had that major drought that year and our grain bins were empty and crop insurance came around, the agent came around again, you know what? I guess I reevaluated my thoughts and thought, you know what? The one above takes care of his end, but I got to do my part in doing my part for making sure that I have money to feed my cattle. And so, ever since that, it was a very good investment. Sometimes I think that, the money that I hand out to buy crop insurance, I could buy myself a new pickup. But you know what? The next year, if we have a disaster or a shortage of growing because of rain or dryness, that crop insurance has been very, very good to us. When we first purchased crop insurance, we just started out with yield coverage. Some years we collected, some years we didn't collect, but it was always there when we needed that insurance. Then along the way, I guess we decided that I believe that the CRC would be a very good opportunity to help us also get even better coverage by prices going up and down. We have collected on that. Yes, it does cost money, but it's an insurance that, as big as our operation is, we can't hardly afford to be without. One of the biggest issues that crop insurance can do, when you invest hundreds and thousands of dollars in a crop in the field and you don't know at the end of the season as to whether you're going to have a crop or not, the crop insurance gives you a lot of peace of mind to know that you don't need to worry about it. You aren't going to know how to pay your bills at the end of the season or at the end of the year. With the CRC, in I believe it was 1998, we had such a large fluctuation of price of corn and soybeans. Without having something locked in it, you could know that you're going to protect it with your feed costs. This is a great tool to have to know that you're not going to be left holding the bag at the end of the season if you're going to need more grain or your input costs or adjusted by a difference at the beginning or the end of the growing season. You have an insurance that you're going to be covered. The volatility of farming is, I believe, probably more treacherous, if that's a good word, today than ever, because it seems like we're in a world market now. Things can change very quickly, and also the revenue that we take in is even very changes almost from day to day. We almost now in agriculture we're looking ahead to see what the futures are going to do, but sometimes they're wrong, and if we go by them and without some kind of insurance, why we missed the boat. So there again is where insurance comes in. Some people can project the future and they're wrong. Sometimes they're right, but if you have crop insurance, you're in a much better position for your payout at the end of the year and for profitability. I think now as we're getting into the time we're in now, dairy prices have made such big fluctuations that we just didn't foresee. With the highs and lows in the past years, the way feed prices have been going up and down with the dairy insurance now, why that gives us a much better handle on profitability, or that we're not going to take a loss at the end of the year. Crop revenue coverage is very beneficial to help to take some of these here highs and lows or scares out of our farming today. I hope you can believe and see that I enjoy farming, and I guess that I'm very proud of it, that what I've done in the past, that my two sons, Mike Brubaker and Tony Brubaker, have wanted to come back to the farm and be part of this farming operation. They had many other good opportunities. I'd like to say that I hope I raised them well, taught them well, and that they wanted to come back to an operation that is enjoyable, that is fun, that is great place to raise a family, and you can't only have a great place to live and be, but it's got to be profitable. Being a father of two sons and one daughter, you have to make some very critical decisions when your sons and daughters are at that age of leaving home or coming back to the farm. What is the future going to be for them? Where they want to be, or what do they want to do? And when you have built up quite a few assets to that point and they want to farm, you must also, when they come back to the farm, you must give them interest in the farm as soon as you can. If you have some of your family that does not want to be a farmer, you might take out, and here's where insurance fits in again, you might take out a life insurance that would give them the benefit of the assets when you pass on. And if you want to have a good transition, you should make a business plan, have it written down, have that partnership agreement, have that understanding as who's going to get what on paper. If you aren't willing to take a little risk and have a little faith, that's what makes it happen. We got to take some risk, we got to have some faith, and we got to move forward, and we do it. You're not going to get anywhere in life if you aren't willing to take some chances and have some faith.